With so much happening under the hammer blows of this corona crisis, it's not surprising there's a bit of mixed messaging going on. Only today, for instance, our government urged other G20 leaders to, quote, unlock global supply chains, especially for the delivery of vital medicines. At the same time, from self-isolation as he recovers from coronavirus, Home Affairs Minister Peta Dutton has banned the export of surgical gloves, masks, gowns and hand sanitiser in order to avoid a repeat of the situation we had in February of Chinese-owned businesses operating in Australia hoovering up medical equipment and putting it on private planes to Wuhan. Now, I suppose at one level, the government has to mouth the economic lines about free trade because in a perfect world, free trade would maximise our wealth, provided, of course, it's truly free. That's why in normal times the Coalition finalised big trade deals to get Australian farmers and other exporters a fairer go in their main markets. But as we know, it's not a perfect world. Free trade isn't always free, and these are nowhere near normal times. When it comes to putting Australia first, I'm with Dutton. It's only once we've looked after ourselves when it comes to medical equipment and health supplies and pretty much anything else, indeed the basics a country might need in order to survive a crisis, that we can start supplying it to others. That's why I've long advocated keeping up the use of gas and coal here in Australia, uranium too, using it all to power our homes and our businesses, and then, and only then, shipping it offshore. Instead, we send our best energy-making resources overseas so that other countries can supercharge their economies, and here at home, well, we're making Chinese manufacturers rich by buying up their solar panels and their wind turbines to give us unreliable and expensive power, as well as the profits from our rising power bills. Given that 70% of Australia's wind farms are foreign-owned, well, those profits head overseas as well. If there's one thing this crisis should teach us, it's the need to be more self-reliant as a nation. Because when the chips are down, it's every country for themselves. They'll all put their self-interest first. And if nothing else, this coronavirus crisis should serve as a real wake-up for government, business and Australian voters that things must change. When this is over, we'll face debt levels that rival the aftermath of the Second World War. Only Australia won't have the same volume of jobs left, real jobs left in the economy that we had back in 1945, given we've offshored so much over the past 30 years. So we'll need a plan, a nation-building plan to get workers working and to bring government policy back to some sort of self-reliant common sense. Dams? Yes. So we can supercharge agriculture. Deregulation? Yes. So business can start up and succeed better than ever before rather than drown in red and green tape. Radical rethinking too about the way our three levels of government work or don't work, as the case might be. We saw that in the bushfires as well as this crisis. And critically, how we give up being embarrassed about our resources' good luck and put baseload power back into the centre of our energy policy. Because for all those Extinction Rebellion types, this is a real global emergency. This is what an emergency looks like and nothing else. Above all else, out of this, we must end up a more self-reliant country. Now, this will mean a lot of soul-searching for our political parties on the left and on the right. Hopefully, it will mean an end to globalism trumping Australia's national interest and a serious realisation as to China's security and economic endgame. Now, credit here to the Treasurer Josh Frydenberg for suspending the current rules around foreign investment approvals so that foreign buyers can't move in like vultures to acquire distressed Australian assets. But this can't be a stop-gap measure. Right across the board, it's time to think about how we radically reshape business and policy in a post-coronavirus Australia. This is a big issue. Now, as this crisis has made clear, the last thing we can afford is ongoing and increasing dependence on China. Our universities, for instance, for whom Chinese students have become a virtual drug of addiction, can never do the same again, taking the dollars for their pro-China institutes and pushing students through just for income. Our resource industries need to diversify as well, so too does our tourism. And we've got to call an end to visas for investment cash, which happens right across the board. Out of this, it's not just the health lessons we must heed, but the tough economic ones as well.